Hello, this is John from the Haunt Informer.
This is Glenn from Fall Ritual.
This is the second episode of Fall Informer, and today we're talking about our favorite haunt attractions.
Before we get started, though, I do want to give a quick shout out to my buddy Derek, who did the opening theme, that little intro you hear. He also did the intro for my video stuff. So just a quick shout out to Derek. Thank you so much for doing that.
Yes, thank you.
We love it, and it's really cool. So
Like it.
get in touch with Derek if you want little intros for your YouTube stuff.
Yes.
So last episode we talked about, we kind of, not really talked about, but briefly said something like, why isn't there Easter type haunts? I think it's something that haunts are missing, and maybe it is too close to St. Patty's Day haunts. You know, they don't have enough time to prepare for it. I do want to talk about, I did find one on Instagram.
Nice.
This place called Insanity Haunted House out in Illinois area. I'm going to read this straight from their Instagram post, and I just think it sounds like one of the coolest things ever. So, Insanity Haunted House put a terrifying twist on this year's Easter celebration with an event like no other. On Saturday, April 3rd from 7 p.m. to 10 p.m., Insanity will be bringing back their Easter casket, Rotten Egg Hunt. Do you have the courage to make your way through the halls of insanity, searching for eggs while being stalked by demented creatures? Find the golden egg and win big. All customers will be required to wear face masks, no exceptions. For me, that sounds completely awesome.
That sounds awesome. What do you win? Like if you find
I don't know. I don't know what you win. Maybe I'll message them and be like, hey, what's the big prize? But
that sounds awesome. I'd love that.
Like an Easter egg hunt in a haunted house, in a haunted attraction, when like actors are coming out, the animatronics, everything, while you're like searching for eggs, and if you find like a colored egg, you win something. Like,
that's awesome.
How
It'd be nice if you won merch or something, like if you got a shirt or something.
Yeah, right. Like
that'd be
there
cool.
actually probably could be different, like color-coded eggs.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like, yes, you might get a free t-shirt, you might get like a, you know, ticket for, you know,
yeah, in the future,
season.
maybe for a future off-season haunt, maybe even for the fall season.
Yeah, sounds awesome. Like, why aren't more haunts doing that? But you know who I can see doing that? Bennetts Curse.
Well, they do that. They do with the demon scavenger hunt, the demon baby.
Do they?
Yeah, they do the demon baby scavenger hunt for a couple of days during the haunt season, and you have to find a demon baby of the demon baby from the silicone demon baby from Immortal Masks.
That's I didn't know that. I didn't know they did that. That's really cool.
And if you win it, you actually get a shirt that says "I found it," and I think you got a coupon for a pizza shop. So
really, that I did not know. I didn't know they did something like that. And that makes it just more interactive, you know, or like a haunt's already interactive, and now you got to search for something and find something. But I could picture Bennetts Curse doing something like this Easter egg haunt, because you know it's only one building, and you know.
Yeah, that'll work.
I think it's really cool. I think more haunts should do an Easter theme haunt.
Yes,
but
yes. I'm definitely interested to find out the feedback from that after it happens. If they like post and say like this was really successful, or they say, oh, this was.
Well, they did say in their post they're bringing it back, so obviously it must have been something they've done in the past.
If they did it already, that's awesome. If it already worked well and then they're doing it again, that's
right. So if you're in I forget where it was like Peru, Illinois. So if you're out in Illinois, go to this haunt. It sounds awesome. I wish I could go through it. You know?
I totally would love to go through that too. And my number one favorite haunt attraction is Hell's Gate in Lockport, Illinois. I really loved it. They have so many interesting things inside of the mansion. There's actually two parts of the haunt. There's an outdoor section where you're walking, and they have a big haunted house that's themed to a mansion. And inside there's actually a slide. It's amazing. And the first scene has a pre-show with the twins, and the whole thing ends going through a dragon lair with larger than life dragon animatronics, and you meet the Dragon Queen and her minions. It's a really awesome end, and the line entertainment's great. The actors actually improvise with you. When I did my review, I talked about it on my channel, Haunt Informer. I talked about this. There was actually a moth, and an actor improvised with it and acted like it was his friend and started chasing it. It was awesome. It was so good. And definitely shout out to Fluffy. Fluffy caught me. Hashtag Fluffy caught me.
And where's this at? Where's this
I
one?
was in Lockport, Illinois.
Lockport, Illinois.
And you have to go on a bus to get there. That's part of the experience.
Wow, that sounds awesome. I love haunts with a slide. I've only been on one. I've only been to one haunt that did a slide. It's really cool. Again, it's another like kind of interactive thing where like you're not just walking through, you're not just doing that. It's another interactive part, and I think a slide is really cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that sounds awesome. I don't know. It's tough to like pinpoint my favorite or like ones that I don't know. It's just I like different haunts for different reasons.
Yes, I do too, yes.
I would say I think the first time I went to Bloodshed Farms, I was pretty blown away with Bloodshed Farms of what they were doing.
You're even wearing the shirt today, Bloodshed Farms.
I am, and that was not intentional. But no, I do think Bloodshed Farms is a really good. On a normal year, they have 4 attractions. The actors there are some of the best I've seen, and I love the fact. It was the one thing I talked about, I think, the most in my first review of them was that it wasn't just buildings. You didn't just go through a building. The outside portions of the stuff, it was all outside. It was all these things were just built from the ground up, you know, and I love the, you know, the design of it. But I like different haunts for different reasons. You know, we could probably talk hours on, you know, different. I like haunts that think outside of the box. If you're going to do this, the typical trope stuff, what are you going to do that sets you apart? Like, why is your asylum better?
Yeah, why is your asylum different? Why is your hayride different?
But different, right? And
from your review, you said there was actually interactive parts during the hayride.
Yes,
sounds great.
Yes, the hayride was a very interactive hayride, and it's a unique hayride where you can't really see what's coming. There's like this wall in front of you, so you really can't see what scene's coming up until you actually get to it, which I thought was really cool, because then it's like, yeah, you see like the circus tent, you know what's coming up, you see, you know, a graveyard, you know what's coming up, and it's just like the way they have it set up is like it was tough to tell what was coming up.
I like that. That leads to a surprise.
Yeah. Oh, totally. Yeah, you don't really know unless if you're like coming in like a turn, and then you can see it coming up. But for the most part, now it was unique in the way that the construction of the hayride was really cool. It's like these like iron bars that go around the hayride, not your standard like wood bars. So
they don't jump on the side like they do at other places. They actually
they jump on the side. Oh yeah,
jump on the side.
Oh yeah, the actors will jump up on the side and everything.
But
it's like an iron fence, almost like I don't know. The whole thing is very like you're going to a funeral, which is really cool.
Well, which makes sense because it ties into the name, The Last Ride.
Their last ride. Yep. But I don't know. We could probably talk about different hayrides and what do you like about different hayrides? You know, it's like
hayrides for hours. Yeah.
You know, Lehigh Valley Scream Park has an awesome hayride where your feet hang over the edge. There is no bar.
Headless Horseman. If you go on that one, your feet stick out too.
Yeah.
I haven't been to either of those haunts, but I'd love to go to either of them.
Yeah. And that's really cool because that puts you like right there with the actors. There's nothing between you and the actors. There's no bar. There's no, you know, it's like you're hanging off. I'm a huge fan of Bloodshed Farms, but I'm a huge fan of a lot of haunts for different reasons. You know, I like the smaller ones too.
Yes. And definitely something I want to point out is that even if a haunt, when you go up to it and it seems unassuming, like, oh, this building looks so small from the outside, looks are incredibly deceiving with haunted
Mm-hmm.
attractions because haunts can be multi-level. They can have like 3 levels. So the facade could be really small, and you're like, this can't be possibly big. And you go in, and there's so much to see. There's multiple levels. By the time you come out, you're like, how long has it been? It's been like 15 minutes. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
wow. So you definitely make sure you go to those local haunts. They can definitely surprise you.
And especially ones that it's like it's just one. It's just like one attraction. It's just one house, just one, hotel, just one building that you go to, and it's like, wow, it's just one thing to do, but boy, it's like 40 minutes you're walking through this thing, and it's pretty intense after a while. So yeah, just because a haunt only has like one thing like one building to walk through doesn't mean you're getting like, you know, ripped off of like multiple attractions, because I
No,
think that 30, 40 minutes in one thing, if there's like two, you could do those two or three in 10 minutes, and it all balances out, and it all depends on how, like I said, how outside of the box they're thinking.
yeah, definitely. So another one of my favorite haunts would have to be Reaper's Revenge in Scranton, PA. It is so awesome. If you get to go this year, I don't know how they're going to run it this year, but I have heard rumors from them. They're talking about it that they are going to put major changes on the hayride, which is really great. It's a really good hayride already, and then they're adding new things to it. It's going to be so cool. And I'd really love it if all the attractions were open this year, because last year they just had a couple because of the situation last year. But hopefully they have the whole show running this year. And when they are full blast, they can touch you, they can put you in cages. It's really great. So definitely check out Reaper's Revenge this year if you can.
I really, really hope Reapers is running all five attractions fully operational. That is a haunt I've never been to, and I have to get there, but I'm only wanting to go when everything is open, you
Yeah,
know?
I
Like,
from my own experience, I went last year. It was good, but you could tell you're like, because you literally had to walk past pitch black in sector 13. You're
mhm.
like, oh no, it's right there.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go. I didn't want to go when all five attractions aren't open, you know? I was the same, I think with like Kim's Crypt. I wanted to go there. They have six attractions, but I think only two or three
Yeah, like
were
three of them are
open.
open. Yeah, three, I think.
So it's like, it's tough to drive far away when like everything is not. And I understand the situation last year. You
Yeah,
couldn't have everything open,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, but for a first time experience, I want to get you know full experience. So I really really hope Reaper's Revenge is opening full full on. This season.
So what's another one of your favorite haunted attractions?
There's haunts I have to go to every year, whereas it wouldn't seem like the haunt season. And I know a lot of people get on me about that. They get on, oh, you need to change it up. You need to go to different ones. And I try to. I try to go to the new ones and different ones every season. But
Yeah,
there are some that I just have to get to every year. And the Elks Lodge, the haunting of Elks Lodge in Bridgeport, PA. That's one I had to get to every year. Sadly, they were closed last year. But I love that place. That is a very, very DIY type place. It is 100% all volunteers. Um, the money goes back to the community. It's just a really, really cool vibe they got going there. It's only $10 to get in. It only takes about 10-15 minutes to go through. It is one of those, like, it's one building. It doesn't last too long, but you get your $10 worth. It is like one of the craziest things they do, and it is like an old school type haunt, which is awesome to see. And I love those old school, the ones that are like a throwback to those old like community center firehouse type things. And that's the same with Terror Labs out in Pottstown. It's the same way. It's like the small one building. It's inside a mall, you know. So I always group those together. The Haunting of Elks Lodge and Terror Labs. I kind of group them together because they're kind of doing the same thing, but on different levels of what they're doing. But Terror Labs, part of their ticket proceeds go to CHOP, which is really cool. So it's just, you know, I like different haunts for different reasons. It's tough to like, you know, it's tough to put like a ranking system on them.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's someone you have to go to every year. Terror Labs was open last year, which was awesome, and it's always a good experience.
Cool. Another one of my favorite haunted attractions is the Darkness in St. Louis, Missouri. I've been there twice. I went in 2013 and 15. I loved it both times. And every year they do massive renovations, meaning like they actually take out and put a completely new props and all the set design and set decorating for at least 2 to 3 sections. Not just one section, like 2 to 3 sections, and they're massive and completely different, complete rehaul, and they're always really good quality. So I liked it even more the second time I went because there was noticeable changes from the 2 years. So definitely check out The Darkness if you want to see a really highly detailed haunt where you are just so enamored with all the details on the walls. You are really easy prey for good distraction scares because you're like, oh, that's awesome. Look at that animatronic. And then boom, can tack you from the neck, as John LaFlamboy says. From Zombie Army Productions, they can tack you from the neck.
um, I got a question for you, John.
Sure.
I didn't want to tell you about it during the week, so you had time to think about it. I want to get you thinking on your toes here.
Oh, okay.
If you could go to any 3 haunts,
Yeah.
and like money wasn't an issue and getting there wasn't an issue, you could just be there. What 3 haunts are you going to across this country
Oh,
that
man.
you would love to see?
There's so many. I definitely would say number one would be Netherworld, Stone Mountain, Georgia. They're just so awesome and over the top. I actually got to talk to Ben Armstrong for a little bit at Midwest Tarnish Convention 2019, and he was a really nice person. They put on a really awesome show. They got bungee scares. People are flying over you. There's the whole awesome midway with a ton of photo ops. It's just really good time. That would definitely be my number one. I also would definitely want to go to Howling Horror Nights Orlando. I'm hoping I could go there this year for Howling Horror Nights the 30th anniversary. And 13th Gate is definitely up there for me in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I've heard they're very highly detailed and they cover a lot of topics, like they've done Jack the Ripper and they've done a Twisted Wizard of the Oz with flying monkeys and the Tin Man. So many awesome things. So, and I'd love to go to Erebus in Pontiac, Michigan. So there's just so many places.
See,
I
this is why I
It's
want to.
not fair because every year you hear of people doing different things, and you're like, even if you go the last year and they say, let's do this, like we're going to change this new scene, it normally means they really are going to rehaul it. Like, for example, Field of Screams in Mouthville, PA, when they say they're going to do something, they really do it. Like last year, you can attest to this because you went last year too.
Yep.
When they said they changed the Shade Cryogenic Testing Facility, they weren't kidding. It was like a brand new show in there. It was like
Yeah.
massively different. So definitely check out haunts multiple times. It is okay to get in the rut of at least one haunt you know is really good. So definitely change it up sometimes. But man, if you know a haunt is just tried and true, awesome, keep on going to it. Keep on supporting them.
That's a good answer. I know all of those. I know all the ones you said. That's why I tried to get you on your toes there. You know, if you didn't have time to think this whole week about, oh my God, what are like my top 3 that I would love to go to if like, you know,
Oh, there's so many. I only
getting
named
there
a
wasn't
couple.
an issue.
I didn't even name all the ones I want to go in California, like Not Scary Farm, Howling Horror Nights Hollywood. There's just so many things like Dark Harbor.
So, so let me ask. So, Haunted Overload wouldn't be
Oh yes, yeah. Oh my gosh. See, there's so many. There's
exactly.
so many.
Yeah, Haunted
I would
Overload would be my
love,
number.
I would absolutely love to go to Haunted Overload because they're
Yeah.
so impressive. And I actually just saw on Instagram today, they actually knocked down one of their giant monsters because they're completely rehauling another section. They're just insane. They carved and made a new train with like a skull face on it, like a grin to it, an evil grin. And they're doing all kinds of new scenes. They just ripped down that big monster, making a new one. They are crazy. And they bought a ton of new skeletons too.
Yes, they are
Just changed a
nuts.
bunch of
And
skeletons. So shout out to Eric Lowther and his crew up there. They are amazing.
that is a crew that literally, I know a lot of haunts work all year round, but that is a Instagram page you need to follow because they
That's a
post
must follow.
everything. And it's crazy to see how much work goes into it, and like they don't mess around with their detail at all.
No.
Um, so it is really cool to see like them posting like the progress of everything that they do, which is neat.
They take some of their proceeds and actually put it towards a charity for a shelter for dogs and cats and different animals. So that's great.
Yeah, I know they're big on um, sanctuaries up there, like animal sanctuaries and stuff like that, which is awesome, and I love to see that. The haunts giving back to charities and their community and stuff like that. It's really cool to see.
And I think the actors are volunteer there too, which is insane.
Really,
I think so. Yeah.
that I did not know, but
I think
I
actors
wouldn't be
volunteer.
surprised. They
Yeah,
they seem like a very like you know family oriented type. Like
definitely.
all the actors there just seem very like very cool and down to earth. They seem like they would be like, oh, we're just doing this because we can work at Haunted Overload, and like why not? That's if you live by it, why not work there?
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
So, but
Yeah.
that's definitely I think that's probably my number one is
Okay.
Haunted Overload.
All right. Since you asked me on the spot, I might as well ask you now. What out of all the haunts in the United States, which haunts would you want to go to the most? Obviously, money and time and travel, not having to do anything with it.
Haunted Overload would be number one. That just place looks amazing. Like their pictures look like movie sets. It's just crazy that like the detailed. So if pictures are looking that good, I can't imagine what it looks like in person. Um, that's definitely one of them. Red Vein down in Virginia is one that I would love to get to. But that's kind of doable for me. Like Red Vein, I think is only about 5 hours, I think, from me. So that's almost
Perfect.
doable, but I would love to check it out.
They have a lot of unique scenes and like unique themes. They have a very strong backstory.
Yeah, oh, their whole thing is based on backstory. And if you go on their website and read it, you're almost like, did they make this up or is this actually real? It's like their backstory is pretty crazy and pretty intense. Which sounds awesome.
Yeah.
It's like I love it when like a haunt has this full on backstory and everything. Um, that and oh man, I don't know. There's so many that are just Mad World, maybe.
Mad World. Okay.
Down in there, but Lake Hickory haunts. I looked. It's like 10 attractions at Lake Hickory haunts.
Wow. That's a
It's
lot.
crazy. I don't know. There's so many there. Like you said, Circle of Ash looks really cool. That's out in Iowa.
Okay.
They seem to their actors seem to be really crazy. I follow a few of them on Instagram,
Nice.
but yeah, but I guess if time and getting there and money wasn't a factor, I'd probably want to go like far, like go, like Stalker Farms out in Seattle, Washington, because I'll probably never get there because it's out in Washington. But if, this situation was like, oh, you don't got to worry about money and getting there and be like, all right, well, I'm going. House of Torment down in Texas, Austin,
Yes,
Texas.
House of Torment would be awesome. They actually have a permanent location now. They used to be out in a parking lot by a mall. Now they have a permanent
Oh,
location.
really? That's
Yeah,
crazy. But yeah, like you said, there's tons. But yeah, I think Haunted Overload and like Red Vein are like my top two.
gotcha. Would you go to Netherworld?
Yes, I would go to Netherworld. Netherworld looks really cool. That's down in Georgia, right?
Yeah,
That's
Stone
another
Mountain.
one. That's another one. Be like, well, hey, if getting there and money wasn't a thing, yeah, I would go down to Sir Henry, on down in Tampa,
Yes,
Florida.
that's definitely something I would do if I was by Halloween Horror Nights. I would definitely do that too.
Yeah. Um, But yeah, I don't know. There's a ton. I would like to go. It would be awesome to do like a road trip, from here
Yeah,
down
from here
to
to there.
Florida
Yeah.
and back and hit all of them on like the East Coast. But you know, that's got to be when time and money isn't an issue.
Yeah, it is an issue. Yeah, definitely.
You know.
Um, Something I'm definitely interested in for this year, we can definitely talk about this more in the future, but we can just touch upon it quickly here. I'm interested to see what kind of scares are going to be incorporated this year. Like, are they going to have more claustrophobia possibly, or more hanging things in front of you?
Yeah, that's true.
It'd be interesting to see if they bring back that maybe to a degree, not to like the full max 100%, but maybe a little bit, maybe 25% to what it used to be, maybe.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if those bags will come back or stuff hanging down. I know that Haunt's going to do that last year, but I really hope, I really hope by like fall time things are, back to somewhat normalcy, where it's not just like, what can they do? What can't they do? Stuff like that, just stuff like what midways are open, what can you actually get food at a haunt, stuff like that. I just want to see that stuff come back. It was nice going to haunts this season, but
Yeah, last time.
it was different.
It was very different. And for everyone out there, we definitely appreciate all of you, the haunt owners, the scare actors. You all have a ton of dedication and passion. We love all the work you're doing, and we're definitely looking forward to see everything you do. And to tie back into haunts, with off-season haunts in the future, we are going to go to Halfway to Halloween at Field of Screams
Yes,
in
we
downtown
are.
PA. Now I'm going to go to Halfway Halloween at Kim's Crypt in Spring Grove, Pennsylvania. So that's going to be a good time for sure.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to go to Field of Screams in May, and it's really going to be cool to see the trail. I think that was like the selling point for me to go, was like, the trail is my favorite part of Field of Screams. So the fact that they were opening it for the Halfway to Halloween was really cool. Also, make sure they have a coupon code. So
Yes,
if
they
you're
do.
looking to go, get that
Use that
coupon code. It's
coupon code.
$10 off.
Yes, it's really good because it's already only $30 for 3 attractions, which is a great price already. And then it's minus $10. That's great. So
$20 for 3 attractions.
that's awesome. That's
Yeah, you
hard to
can't.
beat. That's hard to
Yeah,
beat right
it
there.
is. Um,
So
yeah, definitely looking forward to that. So we'll definitely have a lot to talk about. I guess that's Sunday afterwards. So yeah, keep an eye out for that. But it's in May. It's May 1st, I believe.
yeah, it's May 1st. Yeah. That was John from the Haunt Informer.
And I'm Glenn from Fall Ritual.
And that was the second episode of Fall Informer. And check in next time. As always, happy hauntings.